Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture on the poem Village Song by Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu is one of the most representative poets of modern Indian English literature. She is hailed as the Nightingale of India, and her lyrical poems bear testimony to this sobriquet. Apart from being a renowned poet, she was also a noted politician and a gifted orator. Naidu wrote on a wide variety of topics, and highlighted the beauty of rural India in many of her poems. Her major works include The Golden Threshold, that came out in 1905, The Bird of Time, which was published in 1912, The Broken Wings in 1917, The Sceptered Flute in 1928, and The Feather of the Dawn, which was published in 1961. A short introduction to the poem. Village Song is taken from the collection The Bird of Time. It's a very simple poem that focuses on the sights and sounds of a typical Indian village. When Naidu began her poetic career, she began by imitating the Western norms and ideals. And when Sir Edmund Gosse reviewed her poems, he advised her to explore the heart of India through her poems. And Village Song can indeed be taken as an exploration of India's heart, as Naidu skillfully guides the reader through the familiar imagery of India's rural landscape. The poem depicts a simple village girl and her emotional responses to the changing milieu around her. We move on to a detailed analysis of the poem. Full are my pitchers and far to carry. Lone is the way, why, oh why was I tempted to tarry? Lured by the boatman's song, swiftly the shadows of night are falling. The poem begins on a note of trepidation. The poetic persona here is a young girl, a young village girl, who's worried about her present predicament. She didn't notice the passage of time as she stood entranced by the song of the boatman. Now, it's already late and the girl is scared and troubled. She had gone out to collect water and didn't think about the passage of time. Now that night is fast approaching, she's anxious to get back home. She cannot run fast because her water pitchers are full and her house is at a great distance. So she's all alone, and that very thought unsettles her. Here, oh here, is the white crane calling, is it the wild owl's cry? There are no tender moonbeams to light me, if in the darkness a serpent should bite me, or if an evil spirit should smite me, Ram de Ram, I shall die. The young girl is very nervous and she cannot distinguish the sounds of the bird. She is wondering whether it's a night owl or is it a white crane. It's a very dark night and she cannot even rely on the feeble light of the moonbeams. Probably it's a night without a moon. The darkness increases the eeriness of the atmosphere. She imagines all the calamities that might befall her. The serpent and the evil spirit are indicative of her fear. She is not only afraid of the natural world, she is also afraid of the supernatural world. The darkness compounds her fear, it increases her fear, and she invokes the name of God to allay her worries. My brother will murmur, why doth she linger? My mother will wait and weep, saying, oh safe may the great gods bring her. The Jamna's water rush by so quickly, the shadows of evening gather so thickly, like blackbirds in the sky. So earlier you had seen the girl getting very worried and nervous, and now she starts imagining about the plight of her family. She is concerned about how anxious her relatives might be. Her brother might be apprehensive and wondering why she's so late. Her mother will definitely be crying and praying to the gods to keep her safe. So the tension builds up as the girl takes in the various sights in the enveloping darkness. Jamuna's water appears to be strong and forceful as the shadows gather around like blackbirds. So nature here is no longer viewed as a benevolent entity. Instead, the girl's fervent imagination conjures up possibilities of all kinds of natural and supernatural disasters. Oh, if the storm breaks, what will beside me? Safe from the lightning, where shall I hide me? Unless thou succor my footsteps and guide me, Ram re Ram, I shall die. So the lonely village girl, she's panicking now because she knows that she's completely alone and at the mercy of nature. She wonders as to what will befall her, what will happen to her if a storm breaks out. And then she comes to the conclusion that unless God comes to her aid, she will surely perish, she will surely die. So she prays earnestly to God to help her as she cannot face this adversity on her own. So Sarojini Naidu here paints a very realistic picture of a very lonely village girl who is concerned about reaching home safely. Often in villages, women have to travel long distances to fetch water, and the poetess manages to capture the plight of a young girl who is in a similar situation. She cannot throw away the heavy pitchers of water and run for safety. She cannot do that because she needs the water for the daily household activity. So she just cannot discard the water like that. She has to carry the water safely back home. Yet she is intimidated by the approaching night and is worried that some disaster, whether it be natural or supernatural, will definitely fall on her head. So caught in such a situation, the hapless girl has no other recourse but to appeal to the kindness of heavens. The poetess manages to capture the helplessness and angst of the girl in vivid detail. Though the poem is extremely simple in its diction, we can conclude by saying that it manages to capture the soul of India in its realistic images and minute details. So that's all for now. I hope all of you understood the poem. Thank you.